So not everybody can do what I'm about to suggest. However, if you can afford it, this video is about why you should buy a 12-string guitar.
There I am on the road again. There I am up on the stage. Here I go playing star again. There I go, turn the page.
Hello everybody. Today I'm going to show y'all something a little different. Guitar related, but different. Let me show you this. This is Dose. I name all my guitars. And Dose, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho. Anyway, 12. 12-string guitar. 12-string guitars are kind of like Harley Davidson motorcycles. Their value doesn't decrease as they get older. And you can find a guitar that brand new might have been $350, $500, $800, and find it used in still excellent condition 3 to 4 years, 5 years later for almost, maybe I won't say half, but about 2/3 the price. That's a good thing. You know, if you're in the market for a used guitar, like most people, you probably don't have a whole lot of money to spend. 12-string guitars are like that. Whatever they were worth when they were brand new, they're worth almost as much when they're 4 or 5 years old. In fact, if they're in as good condition as them, not just like new, but I mean, seldom used kind of like new, they might even be worth as much or more. Or I'll tell you right now, the average price for one new or moderately used is around $600. Average. You'll find some less, you'll find some more, but average $500-$600 for a decent 12-string. And of course, now you go look at something with the name Gibson or Taylor or whatever attached to it, and add another digit to that. So, but save for it. You know, Tim McGraw. Remember that old TV show Trick My Truck, and they had that intro song by Tim McGraw. How bad do you want it? If you want to play where you're not having to apologize for the people you're playing in front of all the time for your sloppy playing, get something like this, and it'll help make you a better guitar player on your 6-string. On a 6-string, when you play, and every now and then you might not quite be exactly where you need to be as far as centered on the string that you're playing a note between two other strings. You might not be exactly centered on the string, or you might have, instead of being straight down into the string 90 degrees, you might be more kind of leaning like so, and therefore the meat of your finger will be muffling the string below. Or you might be up too high in your nail, especially if you don't keep them trimmed, your nail will be buzzing against the string directly above. But there's still a way on a 6-string guitar that you can play and not be exactly perfect in your placement of your finger on that string to play that particular note, and yet still come off sounding kind of clean. But if you're still new to guitar, those moments are probably far and few between. You're actually probably buzzing above or muffling below quite frequently, especially in certain chords that aren't as easy to form the structures, finger positions, as other chords might be. You would say then, well, Mike, then why are you suggesting I buy a 12-string? And you're not going to like it. But if, like most guitarists, you want to play better, you want to learn to play better, the reason I would suggest getting a 12-string guitar is because it's less forgiving. You can't be slightly above or slightly below and still come off sounding kind of clean if you don't have it exactly right. This is where I cheated right there. Said I wasn't exactly right, and I moved my ring finger. But it's less forgiving. And what that means is, more frequently when you play, you are going to make mistakes, and you are going to muffle out. Because, you know, each finger now, finger position, instead of covering one string, is covering two. And I'm not going to lie to you, restringing one of these when it comes time to put new strings on, again, if you can afford it, just take it to your local guitar shop. Say, hey man, put new strings on this. And they're not going to want to do it either, and they're going to charge you a little more than they would for restringing a 6-string. But honestly, just to be, of course, I use the excuse that I'm trucking all the time, so therefore I have very little free time to do such stuff, and I'll just pay the extra money and get someone else to do it. But the fact is, I don't want to mess with it. It's a pain. But the point of it is this. When you practice, especially if you have a 6-string and a 12-string, and you're going to play around with both, the thing is that you're going to be forced, if you're going to play with your 12-string, you're going to be forced to try to play more cleanly. Otherwise, it's just going to sound like crap. You're always going to be muffling out below or buzzing above. Sometimes you just might sound dead entirely because you're pressing hard enough to sound a thicker string, but not hard enough to sound out the thinner string that goes along with it. And the reason why this 12-string, which will at first seem aggravating to you, but if you follow this, what I'm about to tell you, is it will make you a better guitar player. Because of the fact that you'd be like, oh man, that don't sound near as nice when I'm playing my 6-string when I'm on this one. And the reason why, of course, is because the 6-string is more forgiving. You don't have to be in perfect placement every single time, and you'll still get that note to sound out clearly. Not so on a 12-string. On a 12-string, you have less. In the machinist trade, metalworking, they use the word tolerance. You have less tolerance. You have less room for error. And not to say that it still has to be exact. You still have a little bit of room for error, but a lot less than you do on a 6-string. So if you get a 12-string and practice with the 12-string a lot more frequently than what you might consider doing otherwise, it will force you to become a better guitar player. It'll force you to pay more attention to where you're putting your fingers for making chords. Now I'm not a picker. I have seen people do some picking. I got a buddy of mine that's amazing. I have seen people do some picking on a 12-string, but most people play a 12-string for the harmonic sounds, which chords specifically, and the fact that it forces you to pay more attention to your finger placements when you're making these chords. When you go back to your 6-string, you'll be surprised at how much more clean your playing is. Less buzzing, less muffling, etc., etc., etc. So, if you can afford it, not everybody can, but if you can, if you can afford it, go buy yourself a 12-string. Practice with it more frequently than you will your 6-string. And then when you go to play your, maybe 10 minutes. Play 10 minutes every day, practice with your 12-string, and then go ahead and do some jamming with your 6-string 20, 30 minutes. And you'll notice on your 6-string, you're making less errors, less buzzing, less muffling, a lot cleaner sound. Because you're forcing yourself to play more correctly on this. And because of that, when you go to play the 6-string, it's a breeze. By practicing on a 12-string, it will clean up your playing on a 6-string. There's Mike's tip for the day. Thank you for stopping by. Take care. Be good to each other. See you next time.